Hello everyone. Hi there. Thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Samantha and welcome to my brand new channel, Samantha Rewritten. Now, I am a complete beginner at all this. This is my very first video, so I would ask you to bear with me, and I'll probably be looking all over the place, all over the monitor, so if my eyes do wander off, I'm going to try and work on that. But I thought I would jump on and get started with all of this. So a little bit about me. I'm a mum of four. I'm going to be 40 years old very soon, in a couple of months. And I thought I would spend this year, my 39th year, kind of rewriting my life. So at the beginning of this year, I was 16 stone. So if you're not in the UK, that translates to about 100 kilos or 220 pounds. Crazy, right? And I'm only 5'2" or 162 centimeters, so I am not a tall lady. Luckily, I was still a UK size 14 and 16, so that's like a US size 10 and 12 in my clothes, but I really felt it inside myself. I felt very heavy. I was panting and not realizing it. People were telling me I was panting, or when I was working as an estate agent, I would do video tours and I'd listen back and all I could hear was it was crazy. Anyway, I thought I need to change. I'm stressed. I'm really overweight. I'm losing my features and I need to do something. I'm about to be 40. I'm going to go into middle age. Maybe I already am, but I didn't want it to become an issue as I got older. So luckily I was in a position where I was able to take a step back and reevaluate a lot of things. And this year I have lost, just within 8 months, 80 pounds. That's about 40 kilos and 6 stone. That's 40% of my body weight. I cannot believe it. So my weight now is 60 kilos and I've not been this weight since 2017. And I feel like a new woman, honestly. It's been the best thing I've ever done. So I did actually use a bit of Mounjaro. I used a very low dose of Mounjaro. Just to turn off the food noise a little bit. I'm making another video about my experience with Mounjaro. I'll go into a lot more detail with it, but to complement it, I also did a lot of meditation. I got into swimming and I also got into weight training as well. So I wanted to preserve my shape and try and build some muscles while I was using the Mounjaro. And obviously, adjusting my diet and looking after my nutrition. So yeah, I'll get into that with another video. But what I thought I'd kick off with today is something which is a little bit close to my heart. These are things that I've kind of heard from people, and thinking about it over the years when I've known people who have lost weight, I've heard other people say this to them as well. So I just thought I'd make a video about that, see if any of this resonates with anyone. Would love to get a conversation going. I mean, I'd love to know in the comments if any of these are familiar with you, or, if you have anything to add or anything you disagree with, please. I will read everything. I will respond. Would love to, just get a chat going. So let's get into it. Now, this is something which is always said in a nice way, and I can understand why people say it, because obviously people are beautiful at all sizes, right? I felt I was beautiful at my biggest as well. It wasn't really about looks, but usually there are other things which is making somebody lose weight. For me, it was the fact that I was starting to get very out of breath and not even noticing it. Like I said, I would hear it back on audio when I would be climbing upstairs doing video tours in my old job, or people commenting, Samantha, are you okay? You're breathing a bit heavily. It's like, oh my God. And then one of the worst things for me as well is I developed chub rub. So when I would go out on a warm day and I didn't have trousers or shorts on, I would have to rub Vaseline on my legs, because if I didn't, I would have the darkest, angriest rashes just from the friction of my thighs rubbing together. And it would leave me in absolute tears. It's agony. I'm sure that so many ladies out there can resonate with this, right? So for me, I knew I couldn't continue at 16 stone. I think everyone who decides to lose weight, they have that moment of realization that this weight that they're at is not serving them. And they don't feel good. They don't feel healthy. So I know that when someone says you look fine before, it's always with good intentions, but it kind of erases that lived experience, and it dismisses the discomfort and the pain and the wake-up call that made you want to try and improve things. And because it's about making yourself feel more comfortable to even move around, or to go out with your children for the day without worrying about developing a rash from the friction. Okay, point number 2. This is one which actually gets me a little bit. And that's, you look good, but don't go too far. On the surface, this sounds like concern, but underneath, it's really unhelpful. Okay, super unhelpful. So it kind of implies that the person doesn't really know when to stop, or that they're heading for an eating disorder. And it makes you feel like you need someone else's stamp of approval for your body. I mean, here's the thing. Nobody says this to someone who's gaining weight. You never hear someone say, don't go too far, when someone is moving from a healthy size to being slightly overweight or being obese, even though it absolutely impacts the health of the individual, because we don't want to be unkind. But I do feel like when someone is actively losing weight, people suddenly have an opinion about how far you're going to go and how you're doing it. And it can be concern, but I would say that, it can feel like it's not exactly controlling. That might be the wrong word. But yeah, people generally have something to say. And this is a phrase I don't like that much. I mean, how much is too far? Who is it for another person to judge what is too far? I think that people have the intelligence to know what is at the healthy weight for themselves. I mean, I can understand if someone is going into, a BMI lower than 19, and they're getting into stick thin territory when it's not natural for them as well. That's different. But I was getting this kind of thing when I was right at the beginning of my journey, and I hadn't actually lost that much weight at all. Really, you should just cheer them on, be encouraging, and just whatever you do, please don't say this phrase. It's really, really unhelpful. Okay, number 3. There'll be nothing left of you. How many of us have heard this? This one's usually said in jest, and you can take this one in good humor. But I think it depends on the mindset of your loved one who is losing weight. So it can feel a little bit invalidating, and I think it depends on where in the journey you say something like this. I mean, it's probably better not to say anything like this at all, as I know it's often said in jest, but it's not particularly funny. Um, I mean, I would hear this when I'd only lost a little bit of weight and I was still in the morbidly obese category. And, it can make you think, oh, am I going too quickly? Am I going too far? But I think it's best just not to comment, because it is a little bit of an opinion. And I mean, when someone is sharing their weight loss journey with you, they're sharing actually quite a vulnerable time. And they trust you to share this with you, which is a fantastic thing, to have that kind of bond and trust with somebody. So I think just the comments about where you think it's going and what you think will be too far, I think it's just something which is better just not expressed, especially if someone is still got a long way to go. Just cheer them on. Okay, number 4 is one little something won't hurt. So this could be a takeaway, a slice of cake, a drink, you're at a family occasion, there's a buffet, your auntie or cousin is saying, oh, come on, have some sandwiches, have a few drinks, have this, have that, and it's always in good faith. Absolutely always. They want you to have a good time. They want you to have fun. They want to be hospitable, which is fantastic. I mean, it's okay. It's fine to ask. It's fine to ask these things. But when it becomes a little problem is when this person says no and the others don't take no for an answer and they keep pushing and pushing it. And I've been guilty of this. I hold my hands up. I've been guilty of this in my old job. When I was bigger, I was a massive feeder. I really, really was. Anyone who's watching this who worked with me, this is true, right? And my manager, God bless her, I'm so sorry. She was going to the gym every single morning and she was trying to improve her diet. She looked great, but she wanted to just feel better in herself. What did I do? I would go to the shop next door. I'd come back with lots of snacks for everyone, chocolate bars, cake, crisps, anything. And she would say no to me. I'd be like, oh, go on. I sounded like Mrs. Doyle from Father Ted. I'd be like, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on. Enjoy yourself. And looking back, I think, God, I was so disrespectful, actually. I thought that was actually a very selfish thing to do. And I think a lot of us have kind of done that to others. And I think what we got to remember is when someone is losing weight, they're probably trying to kick an addiction of some kind. Because food is an addiction. Sugar is an addiction. And they're probably using all the willpower that they have to say no to that snack or unhealthy takeaway that you are offering. So one thing I really, really learned is if someone says no, just take it in good grace. Don't be worried. They're not starving themselves either. They're just exercising some restraint because they are overcoming an addiction. It's a bit like asking an alcoholic to take a drink. And you don't know if it can really derail their progress because this person's probably feeling better than they have in years. Okay, so that is my list. If you've made it this far, wow, thanks. I mean, I'm surprised you've been listening to me rambling on for this long, But again, this is my first video. I'm going to get better, I promise. I'm also really, really nervous, so I'm not very good at finishing my sentences either. But I hope that this list was helpful. These are just things which are my experience. I'd love to hear what you think and what you've been through as well. Please tell me your experiences, and perhaps I can make a video about those later as well, sharing some of your stories. But yes, if you would like to subscribe, it would be wonderful to have you here. And if you'd like to give a thumbs up, click the notification bell. You can know when I upload my next video. I'm aiming to upload every 2 weeks at this stage, but it might be more. We'll see. Let's see how life pans out. And if you have any video ideas as well, anything that you would like me to talk about, because I have been on Mounjaro as well, then please do feel free to get in touch. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Thank you for coming, and I'm really pleased you're here. Bye.